Saturday. What was your assessment?
Obviously, we didn't execute to the level of our expectations. And then there's all the excuses there that you could use, but we're not going to use those. We expect a high level of execution, regardless of a short work week or a quick turnaround from a bear defense to an odd defense. And we just got to get better. That's all it is. We just got to get better. I didn't necessarily expect it to be a finished product this early in the season. I did think we played a lot better against Virginia Tech than we did against Hawaii. But you just got to improve. You just got to improve, and I think we're in a good situation where we're kind of unhappy with how we played, even though we did win 38-0. So there are areas to improve, but at the end of the day, we did get the win, and we just have to improve this next week.
Hey Taylor, Urban had said that odd defense has been giving you guys fits in the past too. Indiana and Navy, he mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any concern that there's an issue there that you have yet to solve, or?
No. I mean, I think we've seen every defense there is, and we're going to continue to see all kinds of different things, and teams are going to come up with new schemes, new blitzes, and just different stuff to do to us, just to try to throw us off. Because you just can't sit back and play a base 4-down defense or anything like that against us, and we know that, and we just got to prepare better, and I think some guys need to get their confidence back, and if they can play at the level that we're expecting them to, I think we'll be fine. I think it's just a matter of just getting back in game rhythm, and we definitely were flat. I'm not going to name names across the team in general, but I just think some guys just weren't as ready to play as they should have been.
So confident if you see a 3-4 in the future, you'll have figured it out?
Yeah, I mean, I have all the confidence in the world now. I mean, we did struggle against them, against Hawaii, and I have a lot of respect for they came out and they played really hard, and it's not like they had bad players. They did have some pretty good players on their defense. So it was a combination of our just lack of execution, and they are going to make some plays. Defenses are going to make plays against us. So I think we'll be fine. I think we'll figure it out, and moving forward we'll improve against those sorts of defenses.
Taylor, after the game, Coach Meyer made a point to say, like, hey, we're going to make sure we still enjoy this win, and this is what happened at Florida in 2009, and you can just try to live up to expectations so much that you cannot enjoy it. Did he hit that with you guys at all? Did he try to emphasize that point at all, of even if you're not happy, still enjoy it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I said, the first thing he said when he came in the locker room, he was like, how cool is it that we're at a school and we play for a team that winning 38-0. We're upset with that. But it is hard to win college football games. Every team is going to have good players, and they are going to make plays, and things aren't always going to be perfect. Even in a big win where you feel like you did everything right, you can still learn from those games. So I think it's important for us to realize that wins aren't easy to come by, especially at a high level of college football. So we did enjoy it, and we had our victory meal yesterday. We came in here, we watched the film. It wasn't like we were just getting berated for how we played. We're going to learn from it, and we're going to improve, and just go back to work, just get better. Not worry about things that went wrong. You just got to improve from it.
What did they do that bothered y'all the most? Was it just not being in the same place at the same time every other play? I mean, what just bothered y'all the most up front, Taylor?
It was just, for one, I think it was kind of difficult to identify where their blitzes were coming from, and they threw all kinds of blitzes at us. And not to make an excuse, but we had 1 week in pads going into it, and then they just did some odd things. Sometimes they would slant their D line into a blitz, which you don't see. It's kind of unorthodox, and I just think we had to be we just had to slow down our footwork a little bit. I think guys were coming off the ball a little too quick and just kind of missing stuff, and then at times we were getting in the wrong plays. Because we thought they were bringing a blitz that wasn't necessarily what they were going to bring.
Yeah.
So it was just I think it was a lot of miscommunication on the field, and then just like I said, a lack of execution, and just sticking to your rules.
I wrote this, and I don't know